Although the win tonight was not the way we wanted it to go down, it still is a W in the scorebook, and it salvages a series against a very good Arizona Diamondbacks team. What's going on, guys? It's the King of 161st Gen. I'm back with another video, and yes, the Yankees did lose 2 out of 3 in this series. There are a lot of things that I am looking forward to now that this series happened. So like the video, subscribe if you're new. Let's get right into it. In game 1, I was actually there in attendance. Turns out Yankees fans show up for any game. This was an April 1st Monday night game, and the stadium looked pretty packed. I was actually really hyped up to see that. So good on you guys for showing up, even on days that aren't the best to show up. Yankees fans always do. Outside of that, Will Warren looked good from my vantage point. Outside of the home run he gave up in the third, he looked pretty solid, but he's not the pitcher I want to talk about. Although he was good, a bullpen arm impressed me so much, and that is Fernando Cruz. Fernando Cruz had a rough spring, and a lot of people jumped off the bandwagon. This is why you don't jump off the bandwagon. There's a reason people say Fernando Cruz's splitter is a top 3 pitch in baseball. Look at the swings that are being taken on Fernando Cruz's splitter. These are not scrubs that are coming up. One of them is Ketel fucking Marte, the best second baseman in all of Major League Baseball, in my opinion, the most underrated player in baseball. A lot of people would say Jose Ramirez, but I do not hear anyone talking about Ketel Marte when he has been consistent every single year. And he made Ketel Marte look stupid, as he did everyone he faced. Matt Blake basically told Fernando Cruz, as it seems, just keep throwing the splitter. What about the fastball? Throw the splitter. What about my change? Throw the splitter. The Tommy Kahnle method, and it worked. That is domination right there. Someone who did not have a dominating splitter is Mark Leiter Jr., as when he comes in, he throws a splitter inside to Eugenio Suarez. Eugenio Suarez hits a grand slam. Now look, am I going to fully fault Mark Leiter there? He deserves 70% of the blame. 30% is Eugenio Suarez is on one of the biggest resurgences we have ever seen, and he's just become one of the best power hitters in baseball. Shit happened. Where Mark Leiter does get a fault here is he sees that Eugenio Suarez is looking inside. He threw 2 strikes on the outer part of the plate. Suarez swung and missed. Why are we going back inside? Especially to an inside ball hitter, a guy who is known for taking advantage of mistakes on the inner part of the plate. Now I get it, he wanted that pitch to be lower, but why even take that chance? Throw it away. It doesn't seem like when his arms are extended, he does much with it. It's just those moments right there that kind of piss me off. And that's why he deserves 70% of that blame, because that was pretty bad. But also in game 1, let's talk about the offense. Anthony Volpe continues to torpedo these balls into the seats. Anthony Volpe, I thought, would more succeed as more of a contact guy who would get on base and get steals. It seems like moving the barrel down and becoming an ultra power hitting shortstop is the best mold of Anthony Volpe I've ever seen. Anthony Volpe with this type of power, he already did 2020 with a 210 batting average, 220 in his rookie year without the torpedo bat. Now imagine, like in game 3, he gets a couple base hits. He's able to get on base a bit. Along with these home runs, 30-30 is definitely not out of the question. The OPS is going to rise. The WRC plus is going to rise. It's 6 games. I get it. But so far, this looks like it'll be Anthony Volpe's breakout year. And in game 1, he showed it with that home run. And another guy who's been hyped up is Jason Dominguez, and he showed out in game 1. I loved what I saw out of Jason Dominguez in game 1. Hitting that home run, finally getting his first on the board, getting extra base hits. He's starting to drive the ball, and that is huge for this lineup. As a switch hitter, he needs to be able to hit from both sides of the plate, but also have at least one side where he can hit for some stupid power, especially with the speed he has, which he's not the fastest guy in the world, but he can turn on the wheels when he wants. That game showed me he has it in the tank. He definitely has that in the tank. I'm hoping that this can continue. But he's only in really his first full stretch of time where it's consistent playing time. So we'll see how this progresses. But so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Ben Rice looks incredible. Ben Arroz. I guess Ben Rice just needed a different nickname, and all of a sudden he becomes one of the best power hitters in baseball. This spring, you started to see it. I talked about his swing adjustment, how it's a little bit more direct. He still has a little bit of circling, but it's a little more direct to the ball, and you saw it with the exit velocities. They were tremendously high. He had some of the hardest hit balls in all of spring, and he has transferred that to the regular season with ease, and it is paying dividends at a massive level. He hits the home run in the 9th to help try and get the Yankees into it, but I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Ben Rice. Another guy that I'm really hoping does not taper off like he did last year, because last year at the start we saw potential. The 3-homer game against Boston, it was a flash. There were certain times where he gave us more flashes. I'm hoping this year he puts it all together and he becomes the perfect DH / first base / catcher option that the Yankees desperately need. As we go to game 2, I think a lot of people are overreacting to game 2's game. Yes, it was bad. The Yankees offensively looked awful. Sometimes it may not be the offense's fault. Sometimes you have to tip the cap. This is one of those times. And I know a lot of people were talking about how Zach Gallen was nowhere near the zone. The Yankees just have zero patience. There is a distinct difference between being wild and being effectively wild. Zach Gallen was the latter. The best pitcher in baseball that does the effectively wild bit is Blake Snell. There's a reason why he's a 5-and-dive guy. It's because he throws a lot of balls. He throws a lot of things to set up other pitches. Zach Gallen did a tremendous job of tunneling in this game, and it had the Yankees off balance like hell. To be honest, this was a game that was all about Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen showed why a lot of people think he could be one of the best pitchers in baseball. A guy who was traded from the Marlins to the Diamondbacks for Jazz Chisholm Jr., he was able to, as a prospect, garner some of the biggest hype. People saying he's going to be a Cy Young winner. People saying he's going to be a multiple-time All-Star. This is going to be one of the best pitchers in baseball. So far, it has not fully translated, but you know how I talked to you about flashes with Ben Rice in his rookie year? This was a flash of what people saw in his prospect days. That was one of the best pitching performances I've seen in quite a while. That curveball was on point. The knuckling action it has, and it just dies off the table. Sometimes as an offense, you gotta tip the cap. But in the bottom of the 9th, the Yankees weren't done. Anthony Volpe strikes again with another home run. Anthony Volpe is looking so fucking good so far. I can't say it enough. But overall, it was not enough. So then we go to game 3. Merrill Kelly on the mound. And do I like Merrill Kelly as a pitcher? Yeah. But do I think his 2023 run in the postseason was a little fluky? Yes. Merrill Kelly is a good spot starter. He and Stroman, although the repertoire is a lot different, they have similar ways about them where sometimes they have stretches where they look unhittable, where players make contact and they're just going right at people and they look like no one's gonna get a hit. But sometimes it looks exactly like it did tonight. Yankees put a 9 spot on Merrill Kelly. Aaron Judge is probably the best hitter I've ever seen, and I will not stop saying it. This man has more home runs post 30 than he did pre-30. That is my fun fact of Aaron Judge that makes you realize he's the best hitter of all time. That may become an annual segment on this show. One guy, again, and I won't stop saying it until he cools off, Jazz Chisholm Jr. is the second best hitter in this lineup. The way this torpedo bat extremely helped both Jazz and Volpe is absolutely insane. And you saw it tonight. That home run he hit, the one he pimped the shit out of, which I fucking love, you can see when he hits the ball, it is pretty close to the label. It's not even that close to where the normal barrel would be. That is the magic of that torpedo bat. And I think, again, there is so much misconception going on with this bat. Not everyone is going to succeed with this bat. You're not going to see Aaron Judge use this bat. Giancarlo Stanton used this bat. I don't know if he fully needed it, but yes, he does get jammed a little bit. You don't see Shohei Ohtani using this bat, and there's a reason for it. Aaron Judge hits the barrel like no one else in Major League Baseball. Shohei Ohtani does the same thing. Why would they move the barrel? That'll cause less production for them because they are good at hitting the barrel. The big thing with the Yankees is we have multiple players who don't hit the barrel often. Jazz being one, Volpe being another. So when you move the barrel down closer to the label, where they usually get jammed, they hit like superstar. Jazz, right now, and I will continue to say it, he's looking very 30-30, 40-40 like. The power is insane from someone that does not look physically overwhelming. You can be somewhat smaller in height and still have a physical frame. Jazz has neither, but somehow he has enough power in his body and with that twitchy swing, enough bat speed to be able to hit a ball 458, a ball that's out in all 30 ballparks. It is a joy to watch because he also has one of the smoothest swings I've ever seen. Maybe not as smooth as Robinson Cano, but it's close. They both have that straight through the zone, not looking like they're putting in as much effort as they should, but the bat speed is there. When they make contact, it's see you later ball. That type of power at a middle infield spot is huge. And he is protecting Judge so well right now. He is number 3 in Major League Baseball, actually tied with Anthony Volpe. There's a lot of players tied at 3rd. He is 3rd in Major League Baseball right now in home runs. Technically 2nd since Judge and Suarez are tied for 1st. But with that type of production, you're not going to see as many walks for Judge. Because at that point, it's pick your poison. Would you rather face Judge or 40-40 Jazz? At that point, you just throw your hands up. It's what happened last year with Soto, but now it's behind Judge. So now, even if they get Bellinger out, they now have to think about the next guy. The big thing last year, and I didn't love it, was when you had Soto at 2 and Judge at 3, Soto being the protection ahead of him, they had no fear of the guy after Judge. So they were able to do whatever they want if they got Soto out. And although he got on a lot, he still didn't get on at a clip that makes it impossible for Aaron Judge to get pitched around. When it's the guy after that's doing all that damage, there's a lot more thought that goes into it. And that's what I love about Jazz being 4. And that's where I have to give Aaron Boone so much credit for the lineups he's putting out. Today against Merrill Kelly, he stacked the lefty. Ben Rice led off. You had Cody Bellinger 2. Judge was 3 and Jazz was 4. Ben Rice did damage in this game. Jazz hit a home run. Judge hit a home run. A lot of people called this lineup a punt lineup, and we put up 9 fucking runs. It's about time people start figuring out Aaron Boone knows what the fuck he's doing. And if you followed me for a little bit now, you know I'm not an Aaron Boone shill. I have given Aaron Boone his criticism when he's needed it. Game 1 of the World Series, I gave him that fucking criticism. That was terrible. I've given him criticism time and time again about how he's handled certain portions of this team, and he left Mark Leiter out there. People just don't assign blame correctly. And that's when these guys get excuses, is when you start assigning blame when it's not there. One thing Aaron Boone knows is he knows what the stats say. He knows how to make a lineup, and it showed today. So although the Yankees lose 2 out of 3, they go into the next series with a bit of momentum. Tomorrow is a day game against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Hopefully you're there to see it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video of me breaking down the 2nd series of the season. If you did, leave a like down below if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new and turn on those post notifications. Although we lost this series, this still looks like it's going to be a fun year. Hope you're along for the ride on this channel. But until next time, I'm out of here. Take care and peace.